Welcome in, everybody, to the very first edition of the Pack-A-Day podcast here live on YouTube. For those of you who don't know, my name is Andy Herman. I am going to be doing a 365-day-a-year podcast, if you will, right here on YouTube. I'm going to be doing about 5 to 10 minutes every single day, quick hits, every single morning. Wake up, listen to us here on the podcast. I'm sure I'm going to have some friends join me from the Pack-A-Day podcast from time to time as well. But I'm going to get started right away. It is actual Packer game day. Noon football, Packers Vikings. I could not be more excited. So join me along for this new Pack-A-Day podcast venture. I couldn't be more excited about that either, but I want to jump off and I want to start by talking about the three things that are going to decide this game today for the Packers and the Vikings, and really what Green Bay needs to do to make sure that they get out of this game with a win. Number one, they need to stop the run. This has been a major issue going back to last season for the Packers. It has been widely discussed and widely talked about. If I went back and I calculated how Green Bay did in their 4 losses a season ago, in Green Bay's 4 losses last season, the defense allowed 120 carries, 721 yards, 10 touchdowns, over 6 yards per carry. That's a per game average of 30 carries, 180 yards, and 2.5 touchdowns. Obviously, when you put up those type of numbers in the running game, the opposing team is going to be at a major advantage, and Green Bay is going to continue to lose games if they can't stop the run. And make no mistake about it, Minnesota's number one threat in this game is Dalvin Cook. He just got the brand new contract. He is going to be ready to go for Sunday. He is going to want to put any doubts to the fact that he's not worth that deal. Running back, no running back, it doesn't matter. Dalvin Cook is the engine that makes that Vikings offense go. So you end up with one of the Packers' weaknesses from a season ago going up against the Vikings' strength. Now, the Vikings are favored in this game. I think that's crazy. I think the Green Bay Packers have an amazing opportunity to win this football game. But this starts with Dalvin Cook. And Green Bay did not do a ton to address the interior of their defensive line, especially. In fact, they didn't do anything. They're basically returning all of their players from a season ago. There's no question that they're hoping for a jump from Kingsley Keke. There's no question that they're hoping that Tyler Lancaster and Dean Lowry can be more stout against the run than they were a season ago. But that is the first thing that the Minnesota Vikings are going to test, and Green Bay has to be up to the challenge. Look for some big sets from the Packers linebackers. Look for Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Za'Darius Smith to be on the field at the same time, along with Kenny Clark, both against the run and against the pass. Mike Pettine's going to want to get his best players on the field, expect them to be on the field early and often, and expect Mike Pettin to do everything in his power to control Dalvin Cook. If he can't, advantage Minnesota. If he can, advantage Green Bay. Number 2, you cannot let Kirk Cousins get in a rhythm offensively. We know what Kirk Cousins is. We know what Kirk Cousins isn't. He is a rhythm passer. He's not going to be the guy that elevates your offense. He's rarely going to be the guy that loses the game for you either. He's consistent. He's reliable to an extent. He's Kirk Cousins, but you do not want to let him get in a rhythm. He's got a brand new receiver and wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, out of LSU. Totally different wide receiver than Stephon Diggs, who is now in Buffalo. That's going to be a major change for him on offense. Green Bay should be able to control Adam Thielen a little bit better with Jair Alexander, or even Kevin King or Chandon Sullivan, whoever's deciding to cover him on any given play, knowing that there's not a Stephon Diggs on the other side. Irv Smith Jr. still kind of working through what he's going to be in the NFL. Green Bay can't allow him to get going. And then obviously you still have Kyle Rudolph. Dalvin Cook can be a factor in the passing game as well. Was one of the best running backs in the league last year in the screen game. You don't want Kirk Cousins just to be able to dink and dunk you to death and get these small chunks of yardage. You got to make him beat you, and you can't let him get in a rhythm. Advantage Za'Darius Smith, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, and Kenny Clark there. They were all over him a season ago, and that should remain the case, hopefully, for tomorrow's game against Minnesota or today's game against Minnesota. But that's matchup number 2 that Green Bay has to win. Again, just can't allow Kirk Cousins to get into a rhythm. Number 3, win the special teams battle. I mentioned that Minnesota's the favorite. To me, Green Bay wins a lot of these individual matchups. I think Green Bay has more talent. I think Green Bay's coming off an 18-game season where they know each other very, very well. I think consistency is going to be the name of the game early in the season. These teams that have been together that have returned the same coach, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, edge rusher, left tackle, etc. Green Bay is returning all of these players at the key positions. We know that Minnesota's gone through a lot of changes. Everson Griffin gone, Linval Joseph gone, Stephon Diggs is gone. Basically, their entire cornerback group is gone. So I think Green Bay has the matchup on offense and defense. They can't get beat on special teams. Tyler Ervin's going to have to be what he was last year as a returner. They're going to have a good game from J.K. Scott. Mason Crosby can't have one of those Detroit games where he misses multiple field goals and extra points. So I think special teams is going to be a major point of contention in this game as to whether or not Green Bay can come out with a victory. That does it. I told you, about 5 to 10 minutes every single day. To recap, stop the run, don't let Kirk Cousins get in a rhythm, win the special teams battle. Turnovers, we could say every single week for every single game. Of course, that goes into the equation as well. If Minnesota's a +3 or Green Bay's a +3, they're going to be at a major advantage in this game. But outside of the obvious turnover battle, stop the run, don't let Kirk Cousins get in a rhythm, win the special teams battle. It is opening freaking day, Packers football. Enjoy it, everyone. Hopefully Green Bay's 1-0 by the end of the day. We'll be breaking it all down for you tomorrow on a all-new Pack-A-Day podcast with myself, Alex Strauff, and Perry Goldstein, so make sure to check that out as well. Make sure to check out today's episode also, as they break down the game and give you a little bit more depth into what they're looking for in today's matchup with Minnesota. Go Pack, go.